Welcome to the Ellen White Reconsidered podcast. Today we're tackling a question that has shaped Christian history for nearly 2,000 years. Did Sunday replace the Sabbath? And perhaps more importantly, what is the actual evidence? I'm joined by a researcher and author who has spent years examining the biblical and historical foundations of the Sabbath Sunday controversy. Pastor Morgan, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Let's begin with the common assumption. Most Christians today worship on Sunday. Many assume the apostles themselves established Sunday worship. Is that actually what the evidence shows?
Not nearly as clearly as many people think. What the evidence does clearly show is that Sunday eventually became the dominant Christian worship day. But that stronger claim that the apostles explicitly instituted Sunday as the replacement for the seventh-day Sabbath, that's a whole lot harder to demonstrate. The historical progression appears to be the reverse of what many assume. Sunday observance gradually became widespread, and then later Christians argued backward towards apostolic authorization and divine sanction.
So the dominance of Sunday is historically obvious, but the direct apostolic institution is not?
Exactly.
Let's back up to the beginning. Biblically, where does the Sabbath originate?
It's at creation. Genesis says that God rested on the seventh day, He blessed the seventh day, and He sanctified the seventh day. Now, those facts are important because the text does not connect the Sabbath initially with the Jews or with Sinai or Moses. The seventh day itself is sanctified. And then later, in giving the Ten Commandments, God commands them to keep the Sabbath explicitly and identifies the seventh day as holy. And then in Leviticus, He adds another important dimension, and that is assembling on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is called a holy convocation. So biblically, you have explicit sanctification, and then you have an explicit command, an explicit identification of the day, and an explicit sacred assembly.
And your point is that those are direct textual statements, not inferences.
Correct.
So then what is the actual New Testament evidence for Sunday observance?
This is where precision matters. We have but one explicit narrative example in the New Testament of Christians gathering on the first day of the week, and that's in Acts chapter 20, verse 7. That's the famous Troas meeting with Paul.
Upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread.
That's right, but the details are often overstated. The passage describes many lamps, Paul preaching until midnight, Eutychus falling asleep, and the meeting continuing until daybreak. That sounds much more naturally like a Saturday night gathering by Jewish reckoning, since days began at sunset. So the text does record a first day gathering, technically, but it does not explicitly present a weekly Sunday institution, a replacement Sabbath, or a divinely sanctified first day.
And there aren't multiple examples?
No, there aren't any explicit narrative examples, and that's an important distinction. People often say, the apostles gathered on Sunday, as if there were plural examples. But strictly speaking, the New Testament explicitly records only one first day gathering. Other passages are usually inferential. Jesus rose on the first day of the week. Paul's call for a collection in 1 Corinthians 16. But the wording there even says, let each man lay by him in store. So it doesn't even sound like a gathering. And then there's Revelation 1:10 that mentions the phrase, the Lord's Day. But none of those examples establish a replacement Sabbath.
That raises an important distinction. Christians may gather on Sunday voluntarily, but that's different from saying Sunday is sanctified by divine command.
Precisely. Assembly and sanctification are not the same category. People can gather on Sunday or Wednesday, any day, whenever they wish, but the question is not, can Christians worship on Sunday? The question is, did God transfer the sanctity of the seventh day to the first day? And there the evidentiary burden becomes much heavier because Scripture explicitly sanctifies the seventh day, but Scripture nowhere explicitly says that the first day is holy, that the Sabbath has been transferred, or that the seventh day has lost its sanctity.
So how was it that Sunday became dominant over the Sabbath?
Gradually, very gradually. The evidence suggests a long overlap period. In the earliest centuries, many Christians appear to have retained Sabbath observance while also beginning to gather on Sunday in honor of the resurrection. Over time, several forces strengthened Sunday observance. They incorporated resurrection symbolism. There was anti-Jewish sentiment in Rome. They used allegorical theology, like in the Epistle of Barnabas. Then in time, ecclesiastical power became centralized, and we see that as Victor was taking on the Church of Asia Minor for their practice of celebrating the Passover according to the Jewish calendar. And lastly, there was the legislation of Constantine, which came in the 4th century. So then, immediately after that, the church councils confirmed what Constantine had established in a law, and they actively discouraged Sabbath observance. And that fact itself is historically revealing. You don't forbid something that is extinct.
So the repeated anti-Sabbath polemics imply that Sabbath observance persisted.
That's right.
One of the most interesting parts of this history involves the Quartodeciman controversy. Explain what that was.
It was a 2nd century dispute over when Christians should observe Pascha, which later became Easter. The churches in Asia Minor, which are associated with John, and associated with figures like Polycarp, observed Pascha on the 14th of Nisan after the biblical Passover calendar. But Rome increasingly was preferring Sunday observance. What makes that controversy so important is that the Quartodecimans claimed apostolic authority for the way they practiced. Polycrates of Ephesus explicitly appealed to John, Philip, Polycarp, and other major figures. So the controversy reveals that 2nd century Christianity was not yet liturgically uniform, and it shows that Asia Minor preserved older biblical calendar traditions much longer than many people realize.
During our earlier discussion, you made an interesting comparison between theology and AI image enhancement. Explain that.
The analogy is this. Take an original image that has certain features and use AI software to repeatedly enhance it. As it does, it reinterprets it gradually and transforms the image until facial recognition software can't even tell that it's the same person anymore. Well, something similar can happen theologically. You begin with a sanctified seventh day with explicit commandment language, and explicit Sabbath terminology, then interpretive layers are added: typology, spiritual fulfillment, allegory, ecclesiastical tradition, covenantal reinterpretation, and eventually the original institution can be transformed into something substantially different, while continuity is still verbally asserted.
So phrases like, the Sabbath is fulfilled spiritually, are interpretive conclusions, not explicit biblical statements.
Exactly. Those phrases summarize theological systems. They're not quotations from Scripture.
Let me ask the big question directly. If someone possessed only the Bible and no inherited Christian tradition, would they naturally conclude that God replaced the seventh-day Sabbath with Sunday?
That is the central question. And honestly, the textual evidence makes that difficult. An isolated reader would clearly find the sanctified seventh day, the Sabbath commandment, Jesus keeping the Sabbath, the apostles attending Sabbath assemblies, and no explicit transfer statement. What they would not clearly find is a statement that says, the first day is now holy, or the Sabbath has been replaced, or stop keeping the seventh day, or the Sabbath is no longer holy. That doesn't mean that Sunday worship could not arise, but it does mean the doctrine of replacement depends heavily on inference in later theological development.
Final question. What is the single most important distinction people should remember in this conversation?
Well, that would be the distinction between explicit textual evidence and later theological inferences. The sanctification of the seventh day is explicit. The replacement of the Sabbath by Sunday is inferred. Now, I know not everybody says that they believe that there's a replacement, but if you worship on Sunday and not on the Sabbath, you are accepting that replacement. People may still believe the inference is correct, but they should recognize that it is an inference. And historically, many arguments about Sunday observance become a whole lot clearer once you see the distinction very openly.
Well, Pastor Morgan, I really appreciate your sharing with us today.
It was my pleasure.
As always, to keep up with the latest in this series, be sure to subscribe to this channel.